Hi, I'm Arabella Proffer, and I am a painter, and I show in galleries around the country and around the world. I also do books on occasion. I've done actually 4 books before, and this is my first book that has no words, just images. This is a survey of the last decade of my work. Not all of it, of course. There's no way I could afford to make a book that long, but it's pretty comprehensive of things I've done in group shows or commissions that people may not have seen. And my work, basically, it started with, I've always been into punk fashion and French couture, if that makes sense. The high and the low I'm always into. And yes, I did have a big white mohawk when I was 16, and it was very awkward when I was in someone's car. Luckily, I had a sunroof in my car. Anyway, I love painting punks like in ball gowns with cigarette holders, and I was doing all this when I was, in high school. And just, I love the aesthetic of it because, if you think about portraiture through the years and just the history of portraiture, things like tattoos, piercings, hair dye, that all would have cost a lot of money and been a symbol of wealth. And so I started to do these portraits that were kind of classical in a sense, Renaissance-like, and then including people who looked like my friends, essentially. It's interesting because fashion today is now, really expensive studded heels or, cuffs or leather jackets and the padlock necklace. I mean, Tiffany does one. I have a Tiffany one, actually. Louis Vuitton does one. And I was painting these in portraits, 20 years ago. Granted, I was ripping it off from Sid Vicious, but still. So this influence of these two worlds kind of informed all of my work. And it's fun looking at this book because, the first image, the middle image, and the last image all don't look alike. So you kind of see, just this journey that I've been on for a decade. And part of the reason I actually chose this format, this smaller format for a lot of this artwork is because many of the pieces are in fact quite small. Several of them are, 5 by 7, which actually some of these pieces in the book are in fact life-size. So when you open it up, that's actually the size that the painting is. And so speaking of small things, I've been told that children love this book, that especially the smaller children, they ask to see it quite often. And they just love the colors and they make up stories about the characters. And I am totally into that because I wanted to be Beatrix Potter when I was in 1st grade. And as luck would have it, my parents owned a publishing company, a Russian literature publishing company. And I would go and I would play with the Xerox machine, the light table, the shrink wrap machine, which I wasn't supposed to use. I would steal office supplies constantly, which really annoyed my parents' employees. I was constantly reading their closet for paper and pen. And I would make, stapled little children's books and give them out to my friends. It's really cool that people's children are into this book because I think out of all my books, this is the only one that would be appropriate for children anyway. But part of the reason this book was done was for posterity. There had been no collection of this work together anywhere, and I suddenly felt in a hurry to do it because I have terminal cancer and I don't know how long I have. And so when I was in the middle of chemo and radiation, I somehow did this book. And I still don't know how I did it. I look at it and I can't believe I did it while I was going through that. So that was a big part of why I made this, was just to have something left of me that people could share and, share my art with everyone that they know. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.